This is the discussion segment of Good Morning Anambra. My name is Ajuluchukwu Okabwe.
And I am Ijoma Uche. A very good morning to you and welcome.
Well, we have a very interesting topic that we'll be discussing this morning. And I'm sure that by the time you hear this topic, you won't be hungry anymore, just like Ijoma was saying not too long ago.
Hey.
Because we'll be talking about boosting agricultural productivity in Nigeria. And in our studio this morning, we have Mazi Emeka Okoli, who is the CEO, Eco Garden Nigeria Limited.
Our listeners, you're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mazi Emeka Okoli. It's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah.
Now, we all eat, we need food because it is one of the mainstay of human existence. Without food, without water, I wonder who would be alive. And that's what we not want to see that from an individual perspective. But now talking about a nation, how can we, you and I, you understand, you watching, me sitting here, boost food productivity, both for our in-house consumption and for exports and for production of our industries and the rest of it all. And then let's see the little that we can do. But don't let me let the cat out of the bag because I'm not an expert. Let us begin with the experts talking about agriculture productivity. Mazi Emeka Okoli, they said agriculture is one of the oldest professions that man has ventured into. Yet, we still have 4 billion people hungry, not having the basic 3 square meal to have a day. Does it mean that we are not doing well enough in order to feed ourselves, or is there something that we're actually not doing?
Yes, the hunger in the nation is man-made. Like Riley said, God, after creating man, created garden. That's the first and the oldest profession. And then there was no hunger. But with the advent of what we are doing, we deviated from nature. And we are facing the problem we are facing. For us to go back to it and do it right, all hands must be on deck. It's a profession for everybody. Where you don't understand, you consult. The government has to play their role. The Ministry of Agriculture has to play their role. There are certain things farmers need. All arable land must not be left bare. Arable land are those lands where we grow our crops. Government should assist us with, first of all, land development. Government should assist us on tractors and equipment. If government cannot do it alone, government can partner with well-to-do individuals. They bring these equipment so that we can move our farmers from man-muscle agriculture to technological agriculture. Developed countries are doing precision agriculture, but we are still talking about mechanization. There must be irrigation facility for all-season farming. Greenhouses and screenhouses must be established. Our youths and farmers should get regular training. If you go to Ministry of Agriculture today, nationwide, you don't have extension agents anymore. Extension agents are people that stand between the research institutes and farmers. They move technologies from the research institutes to farmers. They train the farmers to adapt the technologies. And as soon as the farmers adapt that technology and put them in place, there will be food everywhere. And again, we talk about diversification of crops. You no longer grow a single crop. You must increase your source of income. You must include the value chain. If you don't have space for production, you should have space for processing. If you don't have space for processing, you should have space for marketing. These are areas, if we go into it, then we're producing food. Government should encourage cooperative groups.
Okay, sir. Before we start looking at what government could do or what we as individuals are supposed to do, let's get back to where we started and see where we missed it. Because I know that before now, Nigeria is reckoned when it comes to agric productivity. That was growing up, they told us about how they not produce granite, the East palm, and the West cocoa, just like that. And then we didn't see this kind of, experience this kind of hunger that is now. And if you ask me, agriculture, productivity then was local, very, very local. No machine, no nothing, but people were able to produce enough for export. Now I want to find out what changed before we look at what to do to boost.
Okay, let me start from the oil era. Oil era is the thing that derailed us. We moved from agriculture to oil. Oil didn't last. And oil has its own problems. Those problems we are facing them now, they are destroying our soils. And then again, that time we have passionate farmers and passionate government that assist the farmers. These days, these passionate farmers are not getting any form of assistance anyway. There is no way you get government single tractor anywhere operating in the farm, assisting farmers. Government no longer give them subsidies on input. Farmers need all these things. Farmers need to be trained. Farmers' land need to be developed. Irrigation facilities has to be installed. Even the SMEs that do processing, that off-take, should be encouraged. If they are not there, we are nowhere. And again, that initial time, there's a little deceit. They say these people produce this one produce this one, these other people produce the other one. You don't produce this. Let me tell you, those things they say they produce up there, they produce them here. And those are where we have advantage on short duration crops.
No. What I want us to get is we weren't complaining. There was no hunger in the land. There were enough to eat in those days, even when they are doing it, on individual basis. Before government starts coming in now, on persistent level. Yeah. So what really changed? People don't go to farms again?
Too many things changed. Population increased. Population bloated. There's a lot of insecurity in the bush now. This insecurity scared the farmers and women who are the producers, who are feeding us. It's the subsistence farmers that are feeding us and not the commercial ones. But insecurity has pushed them away from the farm. And nobody is going to the farm again. That is why we are talking about, sack farming, home garden, and things like that. Those things cannot feed us, but they can supplement. But now, the government is fighting insecurity. Farmers can go back joyfully in their farms and produce food that will meet the bloating population.
Where is the government fighting insecurity, and where will the farmers go back? Because the news we read this morning about how many people were killed in the north, different states, recording deaths from the bandits and from the terrorists.
Well, I'm citing Anambra State as an example, where the governor is doing marvelously well on insecurity and infrastructure. If other governors can copy our governor, things will be better all over.
Yeah, we are looking for things to be better all over. But then I remember during Obasanjo's regime, when he was president, that should be around 2005 or thereabout, where they were having land disputes in Zimbabwe, and then some Zimbabwean farmers came in. I remember in an interview then, one of the Zimbabwean farmers said that Kwara State, because they were given some portion of land in Kwara State, and the young man, a white farmer, was saying that Kwara State was enough to feed West Africa. It's so appalling that a foreigner will come to Nigeria, just have a view of a location that has been given to him to farm, and then he's telling us that that area, one state in Nigeria, can feed West Africa. What happened after that period? Does it mean that Nigeria didn't catch a glimpse of what this foreigner was saying in order for us to boost our food production? That's one question on the other side. Then secondly, is it only insecurity that is making food production, as in bringing the high cost of food in Nigeria? Because some other people are talking about transportation and other things put together. How do you narrow this down so that we can have a solution to the questions, to the issues that we have presently?
What you said is right, but we don't need the foreigners to come and tell us that we can feed ourselves.
That a state in Nigeria can feed West Africa.
That's what I'm telling you. We don't need foreigners to say that. If you go back to the basis, when we say the north produce granite, the west produce cocoa and other things, east produce oil, we were feeding ourselves, no problem, and we were exporting. You remember Malaysia came to us and collected seedlings. Today, Malaysia is supporting us. Malaysia is topping the world. The only thing we lack is support. I still say it till tomorrow. If anywhere government wants us to succeed and put their strength and muscle there, that place must succeed. Okay, if you go to the north now, one dam is serving about 6 states. Dam built by Nigeria. Why can't other governors copy it? You see, rain-fed agriculture cannot feed us, no matter what we do. We must supplement with irrigation so that we can produce all season. All these crops, there are some crops we can produce 3 times, 4 times in a year. And with rain-fed, you produce once. Maybe you make 30 tons per hectare. When you produce 3 or 4 times, the times 3 or 4, you make about 16. You make about 90 120
to 120.
150 tons per hectare. So you can compare it with 30 tons per hectare. We need intensive agriculture. We need passionate farmers. We need our government to play their role. If you look at the budget this year, agriculture took the least. Nationwide.
Yes, we are hungry.
And we are saying we are hungry. Agriculture first. That's why God, after creating man, created agriculture. Because you must feed to be able to do other operations. If you don't feed well, the engineers cannot work. The doctors cannot work. The lawyers cannot. Me and you cannot be here if we are hungry.
I'm hungry.
One of us is saying he's hungry. So we have to boost agriculture by supporting agriculture in all ramifications. So we can be there.
Okay. When you started talking, you said that government is not looking into what to do to boost agriculture, and that's by way of saying there was no intervention from the government, that's why we are where we are. But I know that before now, there have been so many interventions on the side of the government urging us to go back to the farm. Growing up, I remember Operation Feed the Nation. I think it was from Obasanjo also. Yeah. Okay, and then so many other settlements that the government have built here and there where they produce food and agricultural products. What happened to them?
You see, the problem we have is that we are not starting agriculture on time. If you go to developed countries where I worked, they start agriculture from primary school. They make agriculture and their local language compulsory from primary school to university level. So at any time you come out, you are an agriculturist. And government have a space where they will give you to start working, and they'll support you. So you don't go away from it. But here, we don't support agriculture. If you go to our universities now, you may see in the Department of Agriculture, you see about 10 people. Go to other departments, you see 500.
10 people that were not able to gain admission to reach their desired course. So we are pushed to...
They take it as a fallout. So that is the problem we have. And again, in appointments, take people that have passion in agriculture to do agriculture. If you go to our local places, you see good farmers. They are not supported. But you see political farmers being supported. You give them that money, they go and do another thing. They won't go to that farm. Until we start doing the right thing, identifying those real farmers. We don't have a single extension agent now. These are the people that will go to the hinterland and identify those real farmers.
What do you mean by extension agents?
These are people, agriculture in our local language. These are people that take technologies to the farmers. Train the farmers how to use even the latest information. We are talking about precision agriculture. Look at what NIMET is doing now. Give us information on weather. Those information on weather, the extension agent will help take it down to the farmer. Tell them this is when to start, this is when to leave. So that you run away from pest, you run away from flood, you run away from drought. And again, research institutes have come out with crops that are tolerant to heat, that are tolerant to this changing weather, that are drought resistant.
I was actually going to ask you about the research institutes, because I know that's one in Umudike,
yes,
or Ishiago that was moved to Ishiago.
Ibariam.
That's one at Ibariam, that's one at Ibado, and
yes,
a whole lot of them.
So many of them.
So is there no role they play at all to ensure food production, boosting of agricultural products?
They are playing great roles. Some of us that move around them and donor agencies know they play a lot of role. But the problem is that when they do their research, put it on shelf, who takes it to the farmer? The bias now.
Okay, now that's where the extension worker comes in.
That's the gap.
Why is there no extension worker?
Yes, because when they develop these things, they move it to the Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture will now through the extension hands and other agencies in the ministry, move it to the farmer.
So
train the farmers on
why
how to...
are there no extension worker?
Those ones that were employed, trained by World Bank, have all retired. I'm part of it.
So why won't you recruit more hands?
Well, that is left on government because government pays them. But I'm advising the government, if you cannot recruit...
You don't advise them on television. You do the needful. Have you written to them? Have you been able to seek for audience to explain to them that this is why we're having these problems? Okay? All the people that are supposed to be doing this work have retired. The government, like Anambra State government, has been doing employment, so they could also employ people on that, in that level.
Well, I will tell you frankly, government is employing for education, for schools, for health. I'm not sure they're employing for agriculture.
Because you guys have not really made any move towards that.
Is the Commissioner for Agriculture, the Permanent Secretariat there, and the SPAD, they're supposed to make this move. They are the people we are to reach. For us to reach the governor, it will not be easy. That's why we are talking on television and radios. Governor will hear it. His PAs and SAs will hear it. SPAD will hear it. They can say, invite this man, let's discuss with him. If you go and fill a form to see governor, you may not see him in the next 1 or 2 months. But you can see the commissioner, see the permanent secretary, see the SPAD, who will now take this information to them.
Now we have started talking. Let's look at agriculture in Anambra State. How will you profile it? Are we doing well?
We are not doing very well, in as much as the government is talking of regenerating agriculture, organic farming, which is good. But who are the propellers? Where are the extension agents that will go and guide the farmers? The farmers are no longer coming to agriculture for training, and nobody is going to their hinterland to train them. What we normally do that time is organize them in their communities, train them, bring them to the office, train them. Continuous training is important so that the farmers will follow the recent technologies and have the improved varieties that can withstand the problems of climate change and other things. But these things are lacking.
Okay.
Emeka Okoli, you talked about all-season farming, and you cited the north as an example. But here, where we have the Niger Delta, the rest of it all, how come where there is abundant water, how come we are still buying pepper as expensive as it is? Can't this
3 pieces, 500.
Can't this be cultivated in this part of the country? Do we need to rely on the north for onion, for tomato, for pepper? These are everyday commodities. So what can the south and the delta region of Nigeria do in order to, bridge this gap of always relying on what the north produce in order for us to eat?
You see, the problem we have is that, like I said, it was an initial deceit. The southeast have traversed this world, have one of the best weather and soil than even that north.
But we don't have the landmass to cultivate as much as
you don't need landmass.
Let's get the one who eats here now.
You don't need the landmass to feed.
Even if you die a sport.
If you go to countries like Philippines, each house will have maybe 20 by 20 screen or greenhouse. That is where the family is making money and feeding the nation. You don't need 20,000 hectares to feed the nation. That's why we are talking about greenhouse, screen houses, and they do even hydroponic.
Which one is screen houses?
Screen houses.
What has it got to do with agriculture?
Well, that is where you plant, if you want to do organic farming, to protect your plant from the vagaries of weather and pests. It's a controlled farmhouse. It's a house that will have transparent roof or transparent net, and there will be net all around it and water connected to it.
Oh, okay. I think somebody is doing that here in Oka. But looking at the land mass, how much can you produce from it?
You see, our land can feed this nation.
Not the land, what do you call the screen house production?
It depends on
how much can you produce from that?
You can produce a lot of, like, you see all these vegetables we produce, like he said onions, he said carrot, he said cucumber, pepper, and things like that. You can produce them under greenhouse, and you can run them for a year or two. Regularly, you finish this batch, you batch another one. You finish this batch, you batch another one. Because what they need is controlled weather and water. They do better in the dry season if you have water. You see, the up north that is giving us food, they have short duration of rain. Their soil is not better than our soil.
And they use irrigation.
They use irrigation. The only problem we have is that we are cleaning our soil with herbicides and chemicals. That's why you see this governor, I like him for pushing us to regenerative agriculture and organic farming so that we stop killing ourselves and clean our soil.
With fertilizer?
With fertilizer.
Is that what they call it?
Yes, those fertilizers kill our soil. Most of our soils are not healthy. We need amelioration exercise with organic matter.
How do they do that one?
Using manures, using poultry droppings, using cow droppings, using compost.
Okay.
To bring back our soil
okay, those
to
ones
good
that
health.
we practice when we're in primary school, compost, manure, and
they are the best way to farm. The soil will be healthy, the produce it will give you will be healthy, you that will eat it will be alive. Yes, but the other one will wear us down. That's why a lot of ill health, we don't know where they come from.
So how do we change this narrative of this disease you're talking about, that the north is producing more than the south should? How do we do it in order to balance this food production we are suffering in this part of the
Part of why we are here. People are now aware that you can produce cucumber here. You can produce carrots here.
Can you produce the pepper that they call tomato juice? I mean the tomato juice. Can you produce
tomato juice is tomato.
But
pepper?
there's a species of tomato that according to farmers grows only in that region.
Okay,
the only thing,
the weather.
The only thing you cannot produce here is those temperate crops, like Irish potato. Every other thing does well here.
Why won't Irish do?
Irish because it requires that weather there, and our own is too hot for it. It requires temperate weather, not tropical weather. So
our own is too hot.
Weather. Our own is too hot.
The weather is hotter up there than here now.
No, not in Jos.
Okay. Okay, it's only just that produce Irish potato. But with the greenhouse something, can't you?
Yeah, you can do it. People are doing it now.
Okay, this issue of relying on government, always calling on government. I know in developed climes that agriculture, it's an individual thing, and people that are in food production are very rich people that have farms, poultry, and all that kind of a thing, and is on individual basis. Why can't we have billionaires in this place? So why can't we replicate such here? We started talking from the, the rearing of animals, you know, the cows, the goats, and the whole lot of things that you go up there to buy, when you can ranch them here and do better. So why are we always looking away when it comes to this level of production?
Like I said, it's a deceit.
So who is deceiving who now?
You see Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they're farmers.
I know.
See Rockefellers, they're farmers.
I know.
See Ford Vehicles, they're farmers. They started small. But because of safety in their area and support by government, they were able to grow. They continued. But here, you use your money or you borrow money from the bank or anywhere and go to farm. One hazard will pull you out of the farm.
When you say safety, okay, but support from government, I say that to have people that are richer than government in this place. Let me use Anambra State. Yeah. There are people, billionaires in this place, that can do anything that money can do if they want to. So why won't you guys encourage them to go into production, food production?
Those people are coming because of the security the government is putting in place.
Okay.
Because Charis is here in Anak doing farm. Chelsea farm, Chelsea hotels is in Enugu to Aguilera, under 10,000 hectares of land.
Beautiful.
Producing rice. O.C. Chris is in Enugu to Aguilera and Ebenebe, producing his own.
Is there any rice they produce?
Rock Peters.
We need to eat yam.
Rock Peters.
We need cocoyam. We need carrots and all those kinds of things. Is it only yam, only rice?
When you bring them in with the crops of their interest, you now introduce this other one.
Okay,
that's why we say you're now going to miss cropping. So you don't have only one source of livelihood. You have other sources of income. You do mixed farming. You include agroforestry and shrubs, so that money keeps coming. Rock Foundation, if you go to, thank God for the road our governor did to Above Family. If you go to Above Family, you hardly buy land. Rock Peters from Ozoblo bought 1,000+ of land. So many people are there now, clearing for farming. So they are coming up. These are people who have made their money in other areas. They now want to switch over to agriculture because of the security that is coming here. Formerly, they won't come. But the moment they touch down at Umuleri, kidnappers might pull them. And when somebody hears that his colleagues have been pulled, he won't come. That's why we are suffering. We thank our governor for the able work he's doing. More of the big bishops will come down. Obi Langs, Engineer Obi Langs from Norfolk, he was the last group managing director on the ELF. He's now having a franchise with John Deere tractors. He has come to this state to support agricultural mechanization, but it didn't work. But I believe with what this governor is doing, if we could link him to the governor, this place will be better.
Let me ask this question. I remember way back when we were much younger, most states used to have government agric farms where things are subsidized for civil servants, especially. Over the years, gradually it has been eroded. Government no longer have their farms. Even the Ministry of Agric, that is meant to have fish pond, poultry, so that the people that work in government, with the meager salary they collect, can still be able to feed their family.
And buy those things at subsidized rates.
You just talked about this year's budget being the least of all other budgets we have. Does it mean that the government is playing deaf ears to the issue of hunger in the land? What do we need to do in order to...
Well, I don't think government is giving deaf ears. The only thing that government has not gotten conviction from the stakeholders. I know our governor. If you convince him, there's a spirit argument in one state. If you convince him, he will play his role.
He will massively invest.
Yes, he will invest in agriculture. If you go to Ministry of Agriculture, you see fish pond, you see hatchery.
But are they working?
I'm coming. Okay. You see a point of sale. There's a shop there where farmers and other people bring their produce and they sell them at subsidized rates. But the place is not being looked into now because of budgeting and fund releases. They no longer get it.
Because I remember this used to be operational way back in the 90s.
If they get fund, they will run it. But they don't have fund to run it. But what I think they would have done is to lease it out to
individuals. That's exactly what I wanted to say now.
Individual will come and manage it. You go there and buy produce.
Okay, what about the farm settlements? Ibarian farm settlements, Nkwere, Zunaka, where are they? All those farm settlements that growing up we used to hear about them.
There was a little challenge by the last administration. You know, a Ibarian farm settlement is a land owned by government.
I know.
But the last administration succeeded part of it to Ibarian people. And the Ibarian people formed talk to disturb even the ones left. So harassing them. It's only now that this government came that things are being trying to stabilize. When you stabilize, the place is enough to even feed us. Ibarian has a very fertile land. I know once the agriculture have a website. Chinese traced me through the website and came to my office. I took them to Ibarian and they were crying. I asked them, do we have government at all? That this land is enough to feed everybody in Nigeria.
You.
So we have land, we have fertile land, but the point is insecurity and support.
And most of those lands that were given to the indigenes have been sold off. Okay?
Yes.
What about Umpele Naka farm settlements?
The same thing, if you go there now, you see buildings. Are we going to eat building? Estate everywhere, estate everywhere. You see, first thing this government would have done is what we call land mapping.
Land mapping.
When you map your land, you reserve this area for
agriculture.
As
they are tackling this land
for building. You know? But now they use choice land for agriculture to do a house. If you go to Wakador Estate, it's purely swamp, down to Unizik. But it's been closed and set up buildings. Where do you want those food to come from?
Hey.
Okay, look at the place. The state is surrounded with a lot of water bodies. Why can't we develop these water bodies? There are banks for irrigation farming. We don't need to sink boreholes. We have water everywhere.
Everywhere. These states.
We shouldn't be hungry.
Everywhere.
We should be supplying food to other states.
Honestly.
Anambra State is highly blessed with passionate farmers and good arable land.
And very rich people too.
Very rich people. So we should harness them. What it needs is sensitization and advocacy. They will come and things will change.
I think we need to... Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, what do you suggest would be the best approach to making food sufficient in this country and then even making some foreign exchange out of it?
The other time we tried export and it worked. But at a point, greedy people came into it and politicized it, and it stopped. But when we come out of such attitude, we do better. If government...
What were you exporting then?
We were exporting vegetable, and our vegetable was adjudged to be the best.
Onubu.
Because we are taking from Onubu, Nini, or Uku, Abatete.
Where they have that...
yes. And we were thinking that government would have gone to prepare their washing board so that we don't suffer salmonella when after washing on that stream. So what we do is to buy their Onubu. Then when we get back to the office, we will wash before we package and move out. We went to Onunu, where they have more than 300 hectares of land surrounded by River Niger.
Where is Onunu?
Onunu is in Anambra East, Anambra West.
Anambra West.
It's a very good place you would like to go. So during the flooding, the place will be enriched with alluvium and manure. The moment the flood recedes, they go and plant. If you see the vegetables you pick out from that place, you will marvel. And where do they sell it? They go to Onitsha. Sometimes they will harvest, they won't sell, they drop it into the river. But when we went there and started buying off from them, they were happy. They were expanding. The community started developing. But at a point, it was shut down. Our former governor bought us 3
It was shut down by who?
By greedy people. They were struggling for the money. Let me not mention names. Our former governor bought 3 giant cooling vans that were taking those vegetables to Lagos because we load in the evening. By 10 in the evening, the truck will move to Lagos. And I land Lagos around 5 in the morning. They load it in the plane that will take it off. In the next 6 hours, 5 hours, it gets to the destination.
Very fresh.
And this will be fresh in the next 2 hours because they have conditioning room where they keep them. But greed. Those trucks are lying waste in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Gosh.
Brand new trucks. And why we bought those things? Because
was the government not generating money from this venture for it to be shut down and nobody's thinking about bringing it back?
Well, as a technical man, we know they generate fund. But let me not go to that side. I'm the technical man that time. I was training the farmers and harvesting those things that they move. But let me not go to funding.
Still part of what we are suffering in this country, talking about food production and then trying to make Nigeria self-reliant. Well, it's been said that the green in our flag represents the fertile land that we have here. Yet, a country of 213 million people and billionaires in every facet of it are still finding it very difficult to feed. And then we've been discussing on the ways out in order to make Nigeria self-reliant in the production of food. Before you begin to feed some other person, I think you need to feed yourself first. So when you're finding it difficult to feed yourself, how then do you generate money? And there are potentials in this land. Every place you look around, you can plant anything, you can grow anything, and then you can make money too from agriculture. And we've been talking with Nemeka Okoli, the manager, the CEO of Eco Garden Farms Limited, and trying to come out of the doldrums of why Nigeria cannot feed itself, the giant of Africa, like they usually say. And want to nip it in the bud. Just one quick question. How intentional should the government be in order for us to be self-reliant? I remember not too long ago, we were importing beans from Burkina Faso. Beans from Burkina Faso. And you begin to wonder, Burkina Faso is a landlocked country. No river, no nothing. And then we are importing beans. Sometimes it's laughable. And you begin to wonder, what have we had as
person
leaders
that is
in
hungry,
this country?
don't laugh.
Is it because our leaders can import what they eat and then they leave us to fend for ourselves no matter how we can do it? How intentional can we be? Do we need to drop tools? Do we need to go on the protests on the streets? Do we need our lawmakers to push this bill? Is there even an agri bill whereby every Nigerian should have, no matter how little, something at your backyard in order to feed?
One problem is that it's even dangerous for us to import what we eat. those people were importing what we eat from can clear us one moment. With little chemical in that thing, all of us will sleep. They come and occupy our land and start feeding other countries from our land. So we have to be sensitive. We must produce what we eat. We have fertile and better environment to produce than those people giving us food. We have everything here. Nothing is lacking here. So what we need is, we need policy makers to stamp it that agriculture should take the highest budget. If you go to the north, where they are bringing this food for us, a lot of donor agencies are there, helping them, supporting them, training them, give them inputs. But down here, no donor agency.
Why? Why?
Donor agency is counterpart contributory activity. If they say they will give you 100 million, they want you to drop your 10 million first. They will ask you to drop 10% of the money or 1% of the money. If you don't drop it, they don't come. Because that is participatory. You
have not applied. It's not that we don't have the money to do.
No, we have been there. But recently, all of them fizzled out. If you go to Minister of Agriculture...
Why? Because you couldn't meet up with your...
We couldn't meet up with the funding. If you go to Minister of Agriculture, it's only a fight. Every other program has shut down. If you go to the north, the Harvest Plus is training them. The Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition is training them. A lot of organizations are there training them. And sponsoring partners. I know Gates and Harvest Plus sponsored me as a partner here in Anambra State. When we
Gates? Is Gates still around?
Yes, they're still around.
Where are they?
They're in the north.
Huh.
But they have office here in, I think, Udog. Skeletal office. We are their partners.
So it's not functional again.
It's not functional. But we here are still their partners, propagating these biofortified crops. Cassava, sweet potato, maize, zinc rice. These are short duration crops that are impacted with a lot of nutrition.
Okay.
For our own good.
And another type that kills our land. Okay, but let's look at this as we begin to wind up. Government intervention. There are people that are still doing very well with or without government intervention. But then, when it comes to agricultural productivity, let's look at, do we have any success story about where government has intervened in agricultural production and it yielded good results? Because let's not be that you are looking for an intervention and it comes and it's not properly managed.
Yeah. You see, the little you see now is as a result of government intervention. If you go to everywhere now, you see improved cassava everywhere.
I didn't say donor agencies, government.
No, that's I'm telling you.
Okay.
P2B, the then government, sponsored 2,000 bundles of cassava by local government in this state. I spearheaded it. ITA and supplied it to all the local governments. So he did with maize from Premier Seed. Then he was giving farmers training periodically. Farmers were segmented into commodity associations, Cassava Growers Association, Rice Growers Association, Maize Growers Association, fish, cattle, and things like that. And they were moving. And they have an umbrella called Our Farm that brings them together.
Our Farm?
Our Farm. They are still there. If not government intervention, they won't be there. Then government also encouraged cooperative bodies. If you go to commerce and industry, you see a whole list of registered cooperative organizations that were linked to commercial banks and the microfinance banks. They garnered some loan to do their farming. Government also gave them money through ASTRAC under Ministry of Agriculture. So government have done a lot. The much you see is government. But we say government should not take their hands off. They should continue.
Okay, government has done a lot, and it's still doing.
It's still doing.
Because I know that this agric loan that is still on, people still access it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
For a break, we'll come back and then continue.
It's very simple also to boost agricultural productivity in Anambra State, in Nigeria entirely as a whole. Number one, you have to face the challenges first. Farmers are no longer going to farm. because of one challenges of the other. First of all, tackle the problem first. Stop that fear. Stop those challenges. When you can be able to stop those challenges, those fears, they can go to farm freely, they can plant, they can cultivate, they can even go during the time of harvest and harvest what they planted. Secondly, today it's like government have overlooked agriculture. In my secondary school, primary school days, we do have what we call fertilizer. Even I still hear it today. But to get fertilizer now has become a big deal. It's like an American dollar. It's become a problem. So everybody is struggling to survive. Government has made it difficult to masses. Let government make it things easy for them. Let things be affordable as it is before. It's not giving them subsidy. As they say, the subsidy is removed. How do you want them to survive? So government, that the country is like this today, I'm telling you that is in the hand of government. If they want this country, agriculture of this country to survive, to revive, to come back to square one, is the work of the government. By learning how to farm, because if you look at most people, they prefer doing business rather than more than farming. Whereby when we know how to farm and we invest more on the area of farming. And also in the area of harvesting, we learn how to harvest our products using many skills. And also in the area of whereby we are harvesting, let's know how to store our goods. Let's know how to store our our farm products. So to harvest, to avoid spoiling or wasting our efforts.
Actually, to start with, agriculture is natural with human. Man is naturally agrarian. If not because of what is happening now, people feel like maybe when you have 2-story building or 3-story building, you are fulfilled. But ever since the history of humanity, even in the Bible, you are told that there were trees planted in Eden to eat from. So naturally, even if it is not even a farming season, like raining season, we ought to be preparing ourselves any time of the year, so that now that raining season is at hand, we should know that we should go into farming at once. So even without the raining season, we can still employ irrigation to boost farming. But in a case whereby many people are reliant on the natural season of rain, then we should have been much prepared before now, so that once the rain comes, we move into farming immediately. There is hunger in the land, and the reason why there is hunger is because people neglected farming all these years. But as you can see, the only way to reduce this hunger is for us to go back to farming. And the nature is now telling us that we should go back to farming. So I encourage everybody to get into farming. First is to understand the factors involved in agricultural productivity. Number one is human being. The reason why rainy season comes is for human beings, people, to invest in farming. That's number one point. Then another thing is how can we human beings, because we are still talking about human beings as the major factor, how are we going to mobilize ourselves to invest in agriculture? When we talk about investing in agriculture, one thing is stands out very critical. Time. I think in Nigeria, in Anambra State and everywhere across Nigeria, anything we have not given time will not amount to anything. So I'm of the opinion that actually we can convert our Monday sit at home to farming day. We can designate Saturday, so if a government can make that policy so that it can bind on everybody.
We heard our street parliamentarians proffering solutions to the abundance of food and, agricultural production in Nigeria. Well, we heard somebody saying that a day should be set aside where we go to farm and then, spend more time cultivating our food so that we don't go hungry in this country. Quickly, based on what we heard, they said government, just like we've been saying here, that government needs to be intentional in food production. And when government becomes intentional in food production, it trickles down to the masses. Like I said earlier on, when we were young, our school used to have farm. The Ministry of Agriculture used to have farm. So if we can go back to that same mentality, I believe we might be, nipping it in the bud, talking about better food production. Now, what other areas can other agencies, come in to support the food production in the country? Emeka?
Both government and other agencies can help us train our youths in agricultural value chain.
Agriculture doesn't look fast, it's not fashionable for.
No, that's why we put value chain. The value chains are fashionable and clean and neat, and you can stay in the comfort of your hands on marketing using your phone. You'll be trickling money into your account, marketing other people's product. Those people you are marketing their product, you don't know them. You've not even seen the product. But what you need to do is to be honest. You can make money sitting on your table.
Can you market products that I don't have access to? So if you want to buy,
what you need is to link the producer online.
Okay.
Introduce yourself properly.
Okay.
Then he tells you his markup. Then when you advertise, he gives you his flyers, you advertise in your own website, on your own Facebook. People will book it.
What if the person is not real?
If he's not real, he falls out. So when government train these youths in agricultural value chain, you give them what we call the starter pack. If you don't give them starter pack, the training is almost useless, because if that person doesn't have money to go in, the knowledge will go into drain.
So when you say starter pack,
you
mean money?
It means small money to start small things.
And no other thing?
What of the land?
What of equipment? What of land? How do you start? I've been trained. I don't have a land where I should go and practice.
If you are trained on cassava processing or any product processing, government can give you equipment.
And where will I go and practice it? I don't have a land.
In your house.
I don't have a land.
No. You don't have to put your equipment on the land. You can put it.
Okay, I thought you mean tractors and all those ones I use.
The government cannot give you tractor, but government can partner with somebody to have a tractor hiring service somewhere.
Okay.
Government can pay the tractor hiring service money to go and plow your land if you have your land.
It used to be like that now. People go and pay, and then tractors will come and work on their farm.
We want to see if government can revive it.
Is it just, can somebody take it as a business?
Somebody can take it as a business.
Get tractors and people hire tractors to farm.
That person needs a lot of conviction.
Oh.
The state has been so much damaged that to convince people to come back needs a lot of advocacy. And you have to bet yourself and stay by that person to stand, to come. Yes, I know what we have tried to do with the lands. It did not work. Because some of the farmers and the laborers you are going to use will want to steal. Because what makes some of these farms fail is that their workers are not helping matters. When you are employed to do a work, you come and pull down the office. Then the office will close. Then you start having problem. It's only when you work out profit for the owner of the farm that you will also grow. That's what we do now, is that in most farms, we make them participate in the beauty, giving workers maybe 1% of the profit of that farm. You see them work out their hearts.
To make them, get involved. You're a stakeholder, so if you produce more, you eat more.
Damaging your equipment will stop, and you start making profits.
That's always a way out.
Yeah.
Okay, but I keep wondering if it's just government intervention. All these people that have done well in agri production, is it government that intervene, like the Dangote rice or lambs, cassava farming, all those ones? Is it just government? Is there nothing we can do for ourselves?
There are things you won't understand in those ones. They started small, but there are interventions by government. If I open your eyes on what Dangote is doing, you will marvel. Olams is doing well, but there are support. These donor agencies give them huge money over here. It's not their own personal money. So when you start, government will assist you. Then donor agencies will start linking you, like I am now. I'm a consultant. I'm an entrepreneur.
Do you have a farm?
I have a farm.
What do you produce?
Some donor agencies support me.
What do you produce?
I produce cassava, I produce potato, I produce maize. I process them, I package food.
Oh, really?
Nutritious food, yes, that's what I do.
Tell us more.
And I do training.
Nutritious food, how do you make it nutritious?
These are natural nutritious food, we select them.
Oh, okay.
We have cassava that have high vitamin A, iron and zinc. We have rice that have high zinc. We have a potato that have, we call it carrot potato. We have maize that have vitamin A and other minerals, and they mature early. So we produce and process them. We package them into winning foods. We package them for foods for diabetes. We package food for adults. We package food for every class.
Really?
Yes.
So how do you move them? How do you sell them?
We have marketers. The things are not, doesn't even drop.
Okay.
We are producing, people are booking.
Where is your office?
My office is at Amode.
And your farm?
Yes, I farm.
And where is your farm?
I farm at Ebariam, I farm at Acha, I farm at Ebenem, I farm at Ndikelium.
Do you also train?
Yes, I train steady. Like all through April, I'll be in the Polytechnic training young girls in agricultural value chain.
Which of the polytechnics?
Anambra State Polytechnic in Baku here.
Can I come?
You can come. I have a processing center. They have a processing center in Isu and Ocha.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we process food.
Okay.
And nutritious food for that matter.
You are doing very well.
Good.
That's why we need that encouragement. We need to encourage our people to go into private practice of agriculture. That's just what will just take care of the whole thing. We can't keep waiting for government. There are a lot we can do for ourselves. Some of us are richer than the government. Sure, you know. AJ, let's go.
Yeah, well, that's the much we can take on the topic, food production in Nigeria. I want to use this opportunity to thank Maazi Emeka Okoli for availing yourself the opportunity to
agriculture requires everyday practice. Don't say you practice today, you live tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a continuous exercise for us to feed.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. And up next, we have Catch the Boss. Don't go anywhere. Good morning, Anambra still continues.